Hey, what is up all my social climbing friends? It's Dustin and I am back with another video. Now in this video, we're going to be discussing Jeffree Star and James Charles because Jeffree Star has went off on James Charles and Predator Paints, as he likes to call them, as we like to call them, as everybody likes to call James Charles's painted brand.
I'm gonna say on Rich's Live, I will never review the Predator paints.
But it wasn't just that. He said a lot more. And I want to dissect what Jeffree said in this video. So if you guys are here for that, stay tuned. So if you guys watched my previous video about Jeffree Star and Eugenia Cooney, I basically said that Jeffree Star enables Eugenia Cooney. And in that video, I said that Jeffree Star is always on TikTok Live. He's always battling someone. He's always talking shit about someone. He is always saying or doing something on TikTok. It's very weird. I feel like Jeffree Star looks at TikTok as kind of like a new MySpace thing, because I feel like he's still giving that same attitude that he had on MySpace. It's just very weird. If you've ever watched any of his lives or battles, let me know what you think about it down below. He becomes a very, very mean girl. And most recently, he was live with Eugenia Cooney and Rich Lux. Rich Lux did make a video about this, so full credit goes to him on this. But if you know anything about Jeffree Star and TikTok, he is always live over there. And Rich started talking to him because there was a question that was asked in the chat where basically they asked Jeffree if he would review Predator paints or James Charles's painted brand, and this is what he had to say.
I'm gonna say on Rich's Live, I will never review the Predator paints.
Oh, that's...
You know.
I will never review those at all, and they're not even eye safe.
Wow, are you serious?
Baby, those red lakes and those I'd like to have eyes when I'm young, when I'm older. So no, we're not reviewing the Predator Paints LLC.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad I'm not buying from that guy. Like,
y'all give him $1. You buy one of those paints, you're supporting a flight for a 16-year-old potentially, allegedly.
So terrible.
There you go. Because y'all kept asking Jeffree over and over and over. So he just answered.
That product was made by MAC Cosmetics 20 years ago. They had paints. P. Louise then reinvented it, and there's nothing new or exciting about it. I think it's just 5 years too late, honestly. That's just no shade. I think it's washed up, this thing. And I can't support someone that's just not a decent human being.
Honestly, I think it's great that, people like you guys do speak out against that stuff, because it's just terrible that there's somebody with like that big of a platform and some of these people that are just clearly like terrible people, like doing like really bad things. And it's like, it's a good thing, like, someone's willing to say it, because
a lot of people are afraid to. I think the problem with me is I have history with these people, so I wish I didn't. So when I spoke out, it almost had more impact, if that makes sense.
Now, you guys know we're going to keep it $150 over here. So if I'm going to sit here and call out James Charles, we're also going to call out Jeffree Star. Now, I completely agree with Jeffree and him not wanting people to support Predator paints. Why would you want to put money in the pockets of someone like James Charles? I don't know. I can't believe there's people that actually still support him after everything that he has done and admitted to.
To the victims, I am so sorry.
But what I find really interesting about this tangent that Jeffree Star went on about James Charles is, in his most recent palette, the Star Wedding palette, he has red legs. Now, if you listen to what I just put in this video, Jeffree Star said that he wanted to have his eyes when he got older.
Baby, those red lakes and those I'd like to have eyes when I'm young, when I'm older. So no, we're not reviewing the Predator Paints LLC.
Girl, what? You're literally doing the same thing. And if you guys don't believe me, I'm going to read off some of the red lakes that are in his most recent launch of this Star Wedding palette. And then I'm going to show you something else that's going to have you thinking like, what the fuck? So let me pull up my little trusty dusty MacBook and we'll take a look. And all of this information is readily available on Jeffree Star's website under the ingredients listing on this palette. Fucking up my flow, bitch. But if you go to Jeffree Star's latest palette, the Star Wedding palette, and you look at some of the colors that he's put in here and what he's named them, you would see that Jeffree Star is using red lakes as well. That same thing that he was just calling James Charles out for. Now, in the color Cake Topper, it has Red Lake 40. It has Red Lake 40, Jeffree. And in the color Devotion, it has Red Lake 7. Red Lake 7, not to be confused with Red Lake 40, because I believe that's the next one. And in the color Always and Forever, there is Red Lake 40.
Baby, those red lakes.
So Jeffree, if you're going to drag James and say that his stuff is unsafe for the eyes, you might want to take a look at your brand as well. Now I know that Jeffree does a way better job of pointing this out. He even said in his previous video where he launched the blood sugar palette, what all of this is and what it means.
Also, the packaging is faux leather. I wish there was another word for that because it sounds weird. It's fake leather. It's not real. So of course you guys know my brand is vegan and cruelty free. Nothing has changed here. Also, I do want to talk about, so this is a pressed pigment palette. If you have ever used the Urban Decay electric palette or other stuff like that, MAC has pressed pigments. Basically, we're gonna give you guys a little science lesson right now. So when you use a vegan formula, reds, pinks, purples, and that nature are really hard to perfect and make amazing. So if you want smooth, creamy mattes, you want the pigment to be off the chain, you've got to use red dyes, because if you are a vegan brand, you cannot use carmine. Now, what is carmine? Carmine is what a lot of brands who test on animals or who are not cruelty-free use in their pigments to really get rich red shades. Now, what is carmine? You can do a quick Google search. I'm gonna tell you right now. It is basically crushed beetles that people use in makeup to get red pigment. I wish I could make it up. It's been happening for years. So carmine is actually very common in cosmetics. It's safe, but if you are not into wearing insects on your eyes, you have to use pigment. So a lot of these red dyes can stain the eye area. So on the back of the box, you will see that it says some of the shades are not really allowed near the immediate eye area. So you know me, I am always gonna keep it 100% with you guys. You see my eyes, they are covered. Every color is on my lid today. So basically it is kind of a warning for people with sensitive eyes. So if you are someone that when you wipe off your makeup, you don't want like your lid stained pink or any like residue in there, then you might not want to put it around your immediate eye area. Nothing crazy is gonna happen. You're not gonna go blind, nothing wild. It's just legally I have to put that on there because there is red dyes in here, just like Urban Decay and MAC. I always want the best for you guys, so that's why I made the decision to make pressed pigments as well as eyeshadow. So you will see the shade names, half the palette are pigments and half the palette are regular eyeshadows.
I just find this all like really hypocritical of Jeffree. Now, I know that that's who Jeffree is. I know that that's what he does. I know that's how he portrays himself and all of that. People will say that's just Jeffree being Jeffree. But if you're going to call somebody out with another brand and you're going to say that you want to have your eyes when you're older, but you just released a palette with the same stuff in it, like, girl, what message are you really trying to send to the audience and the people that buy your products? This is very much giving me Jaclyn Hill, like Jeffree Star doesn't think that people can't get on Google and figure out what is in his products and what are in James Charles's products. This whole situation to me seems meta. I don't think that James Charles is going to say anything. What can he really say, girl? Because other than Jeffree Star being a total hypocrite about the red lakes,
Baby, those red lakes.
he's right about James Charles, the predator pales and all. And honestly, I feel like this is Jeffree just trying to squeeze a little bit more clout out of a situation that he either needs to nut up or shut up in. But you guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. What do you think about this? I just can't do the hypocrisy. I hate that. It gets on my nerves. If you're going to call somebody out, don't do the same exact thing. Like, he was doing this before James Charles. This blood sugar palette came out years ago. But if you guys made it this far in this video, leave me the trash can emoji in the comments down below because I'm feeling like trash today. But as always, I hope you guys all have an amazing day and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.